is an amazing opportunity for students to experience their education outside of the classroom.
You get students and faculty members who are interested in working or perhaps even careers in public service and the public good. Here they get amazing opportunities to get a toe in the water on that front, developing skills which will make them both more marketable and more useful.
I think that our program from the very start has been focused on excellence and providing the excellent support that students receive on campus, but here in Washington.
When students arrive, their first week here in Washington is completely centered on orientation.
Before we even got into the city, it was exciting. I had to fight with my parents to be able to drive into the city because I really wanted to do that. And once we got there, I didn't even want to go to the hotel. I wanted to go drive past our houses, drive past my work.
So we give students an opportunity to learn about the city that they're living in. Fun events like separating into groups and exploring different areas of the city like Georgetown, Adams Morgan, Capitol Hill, and then coming back and sharing with their classmates. What is it that we can do in this area? What kind of restaurants are there? What kind of social outlets are there?
Our task was to go and find out what there was to do in that area. And that was a really great way, kind of an informal way to explore the city, a way to cover 6 places at once. That's really where I got my first kind of knowledge of the whole extent of the city.
Our group was staying a little closer to home on the National Mall, and we were struck right away by some similarities to William & Mary and the Sunken Gardens, having one building up at the top being the Capitol or the Wren building, and then a big grassy area in between with 2 rows of buildings on the sides. So it felt a little like home. We compared each of the Smithsonian museums to one of the academic buildings on the Sunken Gardens.
It kind of gives you a chance to do the things that you never really, get to do when you're here on like a field trip, or to see DC. Like you go to Eastern Market, and there's really neat things that, you hear friends who live in here talk about that you don't get to do if you're just here for a couple of days. Going to Eastern Market's my favorite. Just going and walking around, it's so cool.
You get a good mix of people who are our age, between 20, 25, but then also some older people that work in the offices around here. So it's an interesting mix of people, not like campus where you see mainly students bumming around. Everybody's in suits or business attire. It's a very different feel.
One of the most exciting parts about living in Washington for the semester through this program is that students are really living on their own, many for the first time in their lives. So instead of living in the dorm room and eating in the dining hall, students are learning how to cook for themselves and live with other housemates. They also get an amazing opportunity to experience all the cultural and social events and activities that a big city like Washington, D.C. has to offer.
Because we have so many people here with a lot of different perspectives, you can learn a lot from the people that you live with.
It's nice, like when you're discussing something in class and you want to, keep talking about it. Like everybody is doing the same thing. We're all, doing a lot of the same readings and writing papers and stuff. So there's a lot of exchange ideas.
The program is an opportunity for a faculty member to come up to Washington and expand their careers. The faculty member is actually teaching their specialty. their focus and their passion.
For faculty, it's great because it really expands you and your discipline and your expertise. For me, it gave me an excuse to call people up out of the blue, people who work in places that I'm curious about.
The opportunity, for example, for Chris Nemechek to come up in the first semester of our program and spend time with a whole variety of guest speakers talking about the Supreme Court, about the intersection of law and politics, her specialty. It's incredibly unique, and she's going to leave this semester with such incredible contacts. I mean, I think it could be a life-changing experience for her, certainly career-changing.
There are basically 2 classes that the students take, and then they take an independent study that's associated with their internships. We've also had a number of speakers come into the conference room here at our office in DuPont Circle. What's great is, I mean, these speakers are experts in their fields, and so they've been able to come in with all sorts of background and experience that a professor, though, might have read about, doesn't have that sort of firsthand practical experience.
Through meeting all of those people and talking to them about their jobs, about their institutions, about their programming, we just developed a larger and larger and more diverse picture of Washington.
I'm working for the District Superior Courts in their Crime Victims Compensation Program. Regina Schofield was definitely the first speaker we've had that's directly related to what I do. For me, it was great to hear someone on a larger level talk about something that I deal with on a daily basis, because the kind of legislation that she's working for and that her office promotes directly affects the people that I work with every day.
The great aspect of students doing internships in Washington was that every day, as the tapestry of our course and our curriculum continued to unfold, they brought in examples of what they were doing in their workplace, of news items that related directly to the institutions that they were working with or the people that they were working with. So the students themselves helped to create the curriculum.
Our program allows students to intern in whatever sector of Washington appeals to them, as long as that relates to the semester's theme. So once students are accepted into the program, we work with them to find internship opportunities that would make sense for them in their career and then also relate back to what we're doing. So it really becomes an opportunity for the students to really dive into whatever they're studying for that semester.
I think probably hardly a class period goes by when one of the students doesn't talk about what's going on in their internship that's dealing directly with what we're talking about.
The idea that a student is coming up to Washington, they're studying, they're meeting practitioners in their field, and then they're also spending time 30 to 35 hours a week working in a job, and experiential learning is something that is going to help students for the rest of their careers. So it's terrific that it's going to be in this well-managed setting.
I'm the marketing intern at Woolly Mammoth Theater Company, and in no way is my job, I think, typical of what you think internship, and you think stuffing envelopes and hours of data entry, but that's not what I do at all. My big project right now is working on a podcast series for Woolly Mammoth. We're looking for ways to educate our audiences about what shows we're doing, because we do shows by playwrights who people have never heard of, so we don't get name recognition. So one of the ways to overcome that is to educate people. DC is very much an arts city, and it's not looked at that way. I think it's really easy to miss the thriving art scene that exists here. And I think this semester, more than anything, has just reinforced that this is a great place to come if you are an artist in any field.
I've been working for artist Margaret Puser in Mount Rainier, Maryland, at her studio, Red Dirt. My position's more or less her apprentice assistant. So I follow her around, I go to all her meetings, and we work closely together all day long. So I feel like I'm really having a really heavy hand in making everything, which has been really cool.
Coming into the semester, I kind of had an idea of where I wanted to go already. One of the things I've gotten at Heritage is kind of some methodology to apply as I move forward, building up some contacts for either recommendations or possible jobs in the future, or just knowing who I can talk to if I've got a question about something. Like, hey, I'm interested about this issue, what kind of research has been done on it?